I'm Meridian neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke.
I'm Caldwell neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis.
Reporting in Gooding, I'm your neighborhood reporter Joey Martin.
I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter Steve Dent.
Reporting at Bogus Basin, I'm Isaiah Sharp.
I'm East End neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, and I visited the piece of land that is at the center of a strange legal dispute.
A harrowing 20-hour standoff ends with the death of a gunman in Nyssa, Oregon. Good evening, everyone. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris, and it's just an amazing story here of hundreds of gunshots that rang out over that time period. You can see smashing windows in vehicles and hitting homes around this area. I talked exclusively to a next-door neighbor who literally had to dive for cover, and we should warn you that some of the images you're about to see may be disturbing. That is the sound of sheer terror.
Yeah, so and then 10 minutes later, he just started shooting right at the living room.
I'm your neighborhood reporter Brady Caskey, and it's pretty easy to see me on a bike before sunset, but after is a bit trickier, which is why ACHD is encouraging people to ride bright.
Right now, BLM crews are coming all the way from their field office here near the Boise airport. So let's see how long it takes. I'm testing out the drive on a Tuesday afternoon to see how long it takes to get to BLM's farthest boundary in the Eagle foothills, which takes them all the way to the Horseshoe Bend summit. From the BLM yard to here, it took 54 minutes. State Street. We've been covering it for years, over and over and over again. Because it's not just any road. It's the only major east to west corridor north of the Boise River. And it's how thousands of people get from Middleton, Star, Eagle, straight into downtown Boise and vice versa.
Tonight, we're bringing you two exclusive interviews as families and law enforcement speak out following a federal raid at a Wilder horse track. Despite asking for support from the Department of Homeland Security, the Caldwell Police Department and Canyon County Sheriff's Office say they aren't happy with ICE. Here's senior reporter Don Nelson.
I know there's fear. I know there's anxiety. I know that people are thinking the worst right now, that ICE is going to come into their dairies, they're going to come into their fields, they're going to come into their ranches and just do a mass deportation. That is not the case. But we do uphold the rule of law here.
Caldwell Police Chief Rex Ingram sat down exclusively with Idaho News 6 and felt compelled to address the statements by DHS and ICE that caused confusion. That statement alleged that ICE dismantled a criminal network involving illegal horse racing, animal fighting, and gambling.
We just want to reiterate that the statement that the Department of Homeland Security put out could not be farther from the truth.
I'm Caldwell neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis. In an exclusive interview, Annabelle Romero walks us through the moments she and her young children were separated and reunited. These are Annabelle Romero's kids.
It honestly broke my heart to see my kids running towards my sister-in-law and my sister. Like, my kids didn't deserve to go through that at all.
On Sunday afternoon, a large law enforcement presence surrounded this property after an alleged illegal gambling operation. I'm your Canyon County neighborhood reporter Victoria Rodriguez, and I spoke exclusively to one of the property owners and parents of one of those arrested.
Duré desde la 1 hasta las 4, 5, 6 de la tarde, esposado.
All week, we've heard from families speaking exclusively to Idaho News 6, sharing how Sunday's federal raid in Wilder has changed their lives. I'm your Canyon County neighborhood reporter Victoria Rodriguez, and I sat down with another woman who says she was unable to care for her 3-year-old son while her hands were zip-tied and her father was taken into ICE custody.
He saw how we were separated from my father, his grandpa, and it's just something that is gonna haunt us for the rest of our lives.
The FBI issuing an updated statement today about that raid, but we at Idaho News 6 pressed further. The agency first denied that children were zip-tied during the operation, writing, quote, reports suggesting children were zip-tied or hit with rubber bullets during the October 19th FBI-led operation in Wilder are completely false. We then sent the FBI this photo, shared to Idaho News 6 by the girl's mother. She says her daughter, who is seen zip-tied in this photo, is a 14-year-old U.S. citizen. The Bureau then modified their statement saying no young children were zip-tied or hit with rubber bullets. The agency has not clarified what qualifies as a young child.
A plea agreement reached for a Mountain Home pastor charged with human sex trafficking. I'm your Mountain Home neighborhood reporter, Sahana Patel, and I spoke exclusively with survivors outside the courtroom.
I want to remind you, Satan, that righteousness will win.
An emotional scene outside the Elmore County Courthouse. Survivors and community members in Mountain Home offered each other support after learning their former pastor reached a plea agreement with prosecutors. I'm your Mountain Home neighborhood reporter, Sahana Patel, speaking exclusively with a volunteer from the Next Dream Center about what it was like working alongside the pastor accused of human sex trafficking. On behalf of the community and for yourself, is there anything you would like to say to him?
How dare you?
I'm your neighborhood reporter, Brady Caskey, and while I was talking to neighbors, a few had to spring into action to save a home from being crushed.
Oh no!
Meet Joel Pack.
Get Travis over here too.
His neighbor David is in trouble, so he jumped in to help.
Is that cool? Okay. Get Travis, he'll come over and help.
He's been dealing with downed trees all day, and they're hoping they can stop the one hanging over David's house before it falls.
Sorry guys, I had to cut the interview short. I have to go help him.
So using a winch on another neighbor's truck, they tied a cable around the tree and pulled it away from David's house.
We have a great community here, and I'm so glad everybody's pitching in.
I'm executive reporter Karen Lair looking back at the emotional courtroom moments and the evidence in the case against Bryan Kohberger.
This is an Idaho News 6 special, the case against Bryan Kohberger.
I'm neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, and I spoke exclusively with Michelle Chung, a former teacher at West Junior High who says she was exposed to years of mouse contamination in her classroom.
They took my nameplate off of my classroom door. So it's just like erase her because she cares about kids.
Michelle Chung spent over 5 years teaching family and consumer sciences at West Junior High.
So in 2019, I took a mouse home with me in my work bag. It ran out into my pantry.
From there, Chung says the problem grew.
For the first time, the Treasure Valley teenager who says he was tied up and beaten for hours in the Eagle foothills shares his story exclusively with Idaho News 6. I'm your Eagle neighborhood reporter, Greenlee Clark, with how he says what started as a motorcycle photo shoot turned into 4 hours of torture and how he managed to get away.
So I put my helmet on, had my gloves on, and as I was standing, I get, shot with a taser, and I just fell to the ground after that.
18-year-old Jordan Carrillo drove to a remote area off Highway 16 around 9:30 at night on September 4th. He thought he was meeting with a photographer.
When everything shifted and I realized it wasn't a photo shoot, it would probably have to be when he pulled out an iPhone instead of an actual camera. He said he was an amateur photographer.
Within moments, Carrillo says the two suspects, Steen Lamb and Devin Larson, shot him with a taser and zip-tied his hands and legs. One of the men accused of kidnapping a teen in the Eagle foothills appeared in court Wednesday afternoon, formally pleading not guilty. I'm your Eagle neighborhood reporter, Greenlee Clark, getting an exclusive reaction from the victim and his family.
It felt very disrespectful. Felt like he just kind of forgot everything that happened.
Like it hurt. It's like it's slap in the face.
Idaho News 6 was the only outlet inside the Ada County courtroom as Devin Larson, one of 2 men charged in the Eagle kidnapping case, pleaded not guilty.
A new federal lawsuit filed against the Idaho Department of Correction alleges leaders retaliated against a correctional officer who has since been fired after he reached out to Idaho News 6. I'm neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, and I was the first to report on those concerns regarding inmate mail and medical forms allegedly ending up in the trash. Now I'm named in the lawsuit as one of the journalists former correctional officer Scotty Amos turned to when he says no one inside IDOC would listen.
I spoke exclusively with Amos's lawyer, Dan Kalish, about his client's concerns.
A lot of those weren't going to where they should be going. So although it wasn't in his job duties to report this, he ended up going to you, Miss Shoemaker.
After disarming his dad inside their Caldwell house, 15-year-old Lucian Cornish said he ran for his life down this street after discovering his sister was murdered. I'm your neighborhood reporter, Victoria Rodriguez, and Lucian Cornish is speaking exclusively with Idaho News 6 about what exactly happened that day and what he remembers about his sister, Onyx.
Then he stood up and he pointed the gun at me like this. And then, like, I knew that it's either I'm gonna have to fight or I'm just gonna die. He said, you know, this is your last time seeing me, right? I'm gonna be dead 30 seconds after you leave. And I already kind of figured that, so I said, I know, Dad, I love you.
After the struggle, Lucian ran 2 blocks before calling 911. He's still trying to make sense of what happened, leaning on family for support. How are you doing now with everything that's come out, and it's been a little over a month now? Can you walk us through how you're feeling?
I know that I'm not okay, but, like, I will be okay.
Why is he sending this to me?
That's how Carlo Hernandez says he initially reacted when he received a voice memo from Mayor-elect Eric Phillips.
Got an interview with Channel 6. They asked me about the chief and whether I'm going to fire him. I'm making a public statement that I'm going to look at all the facts and make an informed decision. That means that I'm going to look at all the things and fire his ass anyways.
I interviewed the mayor-elect the day after his successful election. In that interview, he told me he'd review all the facts before deciding to replace Police Chief Rex Ingram. The accidental memo was sent to Hernandez within 30 minutes of the mayor-elect leaving the Idaho News 6 studio.
I was in shock. I had to actually listen to it a few times because how he was speaking was not how we ever communicated.
For nearly 10 years, the city has been flying the pride flag, and we will continue to do so.
What about your neighbors a block and a half away?
Well, they went home a little while ago, and I'm focused on Boise.
Breaking news on the Boise pride flag controversy that centers around a new law passed by the Idaho legislature. Boise Mayor Lauren McLean talked to me exclusively Friday afternoon about her stance on the issue and why Boise is keeping the flag up.
The feedback is from people across the country, and it's both positive feedback and then negative. So I have everything from we need to franchise your bar across the country to we need to burn your bar down tonight. And this is interesting because I get called racist and Nazi and these types of things, fascist.
Are you racist?
Absolutely not. I'm Christian. I love all people.
The only thing worse than being mistaken for somebody else is being mistaken for somebody else who's wanted by the law. That's exactly what happened to a Garden City man who authorities thought may be homicide suspect Travis Decker. Turns out that was you.
Yep.
I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter, Steve Dent, and buckle up because this is extreme ski joring in the Wood River Valley.
This is Vanessa riding Black Sean out of Swan Valley.
In ski joring, a skier gets pulled through a course by a rider on horseback at speeds up to 35 miles per hour. This week on Idaho Backroads, we take you to the crash site of a B-23 bomber deep in the Payette National Forest. I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter, Steve Dent, and I'll tell you more about this historic event and how to get to this crash site north of McCall. The World Center for Birds of Prey have started their fall flights. I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter, Steve Dent, and if you've never been, this is a stunning show where several different species of raptors fly directly over your head. The Boise Valley fly fishers are doing a gravel augmentation project in the Owyhee River. I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter, Steve Dent, and this aims to improve brown trout habitat by putting gravel into the river to improve their spawning grounds. It's been quite a couple days here in the Central Idaho Dark Sky Reserve. I sat down with the professional mountain runner who got pardoned by President Trump.
I'm like, dude, what is this?
Idaho Fish and Game stocks the Boise River with around 200 steelhead. I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter, Steve Dent, and this provides local anglers with a unique opportunity here in the Treasure Valley.
Oh man, I could tell she was huge when I set the hook. She was massive.
Guys, this is my first time meeting a sea lion, so hello, oh hello.
At the same time. And the weather's perfect.
The parade was truly the highlight of the weekend, and our team of reporters was there to cover it all.